Right, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking into installing the EP1 ELRS receiver. I have already installed one of these on the 5-inch, the Axis Flying 5-inch, but today I'm going to be putting one on the little Frankenstein build that I'm putting together. So this is a 6-inch that I've put together just from like parts that are lying around. The parts are decent, it's 30 ampere Cs, and I am going to be swapping out these motors for two 306 2400 kV motors just to get some more efficiency out. But yeah, this craft is really looking quite good. It's really showing about what I've gotten, maybe 12 minutes on a 1500 4S. So I'm really excited about this and I'd like to get it up. And it will also be a long range build in the end. I do have a GPS unit for this one as well, so I might just do that in a build video with the quad. But today is purely about setting up the EP1 ELRS receiver. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so just to get it unboxed, isn't much of an unboxing, there's very little in the packet. But if I can just get this ripped off, knock the quad out of the way. Yeah, let's see what we're working with. So we got our ELRS stickers included there. Here are our Immortal T antennas. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the long one with the build, if we just bring our attention to the build. I like bringing the receivers out in front. If you can see here, I've got it out in front on that quad over there. It just seems like it works a little better in terms of signal, but we shouldn't really be having any signal problems with this guy. So I don't know if I'm going to put it out front there. This is quite long, so we'll see what we do, but good to know and great to have with the product. There's nothing else in the bag. Right, so yeah, this is it. This is our EP1 ELRS receiver. It is really tiny. This receiver is rated for 40 kilometers of range, which is quite substantial. I am flying a Radiomaster TX16 with the 1 watt ELRS 2.4 gigahertz receiver, module. So that will give me plenty of range. But yeah, without further ado, let's get this guy installed. So first we're going to have to do our soldering. Let's get on to that. Okay, so right onto the soldering. Let's get zoomed in over here. Okay, so I think I'm going to work from the back here. I think it'll be a little bit easier. I need to get myself some handy or extra hands in order to work a little bit easier, but for now press stick will do the job. Will indeed do the job. So I tried to just get some wires together over here for myself. I don't have that many, but I've made a plan. You'll notice these guys are quite thick, so I can just get this into frame. I'm just going to be slightly trimming off the edges here. I don't want too much, then I don't have to create work for myself. That should be good. They are quite soft, so you should be able to just pull them off. Bang, that's good over there. And we'll do the same on the other side. This side will be going to the flight controller, so it will just help us out later in the video. Pull that off and then bang, there we are. So that's our ground wire sorted. You do have the red line out of the deal with that. You don't have to do this because you end up cutting off the actual fibers of the line. So it's going to do this on a little more, so it's going to make it really much. We also down, see that side. Okay, so we've pretty much got all our wires trimmed up. What I'm going to do now is, I always do this for all the wires before I get soldering, so I'm just going to let my soldering iron heat up over there. My OG soldering iron. Right, so what we're going to start with is we're just going to start by tinting these wires. Just ever so slightly on the ends to give them some bite when we do go to solder. I'm not using flux, so is something to just keep in mind. See, this guy's being a little bit stubborn, but we will get him going. Right, there we go. Seems like we've got it spot on now. Okay. Cool, so that's done. And we'll just get this side tinted up as well. Looks good. And I'm just going to repeat this all these wires, just make sure that they are tinted with some solder and ready to go. Right, so that's all the wires tinted up now. The last thing I want to do is now go, what is all this glittery stuff on my desk? Strange. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do, if I can just adjust this camera a little bit for you guys to see better, is I'm just going to prepare these pads on the actual receiver. So you can see that there's no solder on the pads at all. So we're just going to tend to that quickly. Let's see if we can just do them all up a little bit. So we'll start over here with this guy. I'm just going to turn it a little bit this way so that I can work more easier while you guys are watching. Okay, so this is what happens when you don't have any flux. Okay, that one seems to be alright. Going over here on this one. That one's good. That one's good. On to the next swiftly. That one seems to be alright as well. And then last one. Come on, bite. There we go. So that should be good. They've all seem to have enough on them. So yeah, I'm happy with that. 4 nice little balls on there. And yeah, without further ado, we can literally just get started with our wiring. So first is going to be our ground wire, right over here. So I'm just going to put that on straight, like that. Perfect. Okay. Then secondly will be our 5 volt. I just want to show you guys. Let me see if I can get this to focus a little better. Why is the camera giving me issues? I think it's because it's too zoomed out or too zoomed in. Let's just see. Struggling to get that to focus, but just gonna see if I can sort of show you guys what I'm talking about here. Right, so there you can see how long that is, and obviously this is a very short soldering pad, so it's very small, and this is so incredibly long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip that just a wee bit shorter, because we don't need it to be so long. And with that done, we can then get onto our 5 volt solder joint. So again, just adding heat ever so slightly, and there we go. So That's our 5V soldered on. Next we are going to do our TX wire. I'm once again just checking that my wires aren't too long, and they seem to be alright, so I'm happy with that. Let's get it on. Just over there. Cool, that's looking good. Just giving me a sharp edge that I don't want, so I'm going to try and deal with that. Cool. There we go, so that is now our TX wire, and then finally our RX. So I'm just going to also do the same thing, snip it a little bit shorter, and then get it installed. So my hand is very much in the way of you guys over there. Let me just try and avoid that. So once again, I'm just going to add some heat and get it on over there, and then that's it. It's a little sharp over there, but nothing too crazy, so let's just check what we're working with. They all seem to be alright. It's just the one that I'm not too happy about. You'll see that this is why I cut them shorter. Let me just see if I can show you, if this thing could just focus. It's really trying to focus, yeah. No, anyway, but we'll figure it out. Okay guys, so sorry about that. I seem to have gotten it semi-focused now. I don't know why my camera is giving me issues today, but you can see that this yellow wire is just on the slides, just a little bit too tall. So I'm also just going to slightly snip that off just to lessen its length. Okay, and then that should be good. So you'll see that I've snipped it just a little shorter. And now we can get on with the rest of the install. Right, so as we move on to the soldering part to the board, you can see this board has had its days. I'm honestly just building it up because it works. If it works, it works. Why not have an extra quad to fling around? So this will be a long-range quad as well in the end when it is flying. It is a 6-inch, and I do plan on putting a GPS on it as well. You see this wire is quite long, so I'm also going to be giving it a little snip. Just to make it shorter, then there's such a long protruding edge over there. So very nice and carefully and gently hooking that up to the 5V pad, just like that. Next we have our, let me just see here that I've done this correctly. So TX is next to the 5V, and that's my white wire. So TX is going to go to RX on the flight controller. Remember, TX goes to RX and RX to TX. Okay, so just had to check which one was which. This white wire I'm holding in my hand is the TX from the receiver, and that's going to go to my RX pad on the flight controller. So just like that, it will be my TX to RX, and then my yellow wire over here, which is looking terrible with the solder on it. Doesn't look too bad, but not extremely happy about that. I think I might just trim that down just a wee bit because I'm not fairly excited about that being so long. So I'm also just going to give it a little cut over here off camera. And then yeah, this last wire is my RX, so that will go to TX on the flight controller. So let's get that on there. Just like that. Just gonna push it in a little bit deeper, and then they should be good to go. So there we go, that's the receiver powered up and on the flight controller. Let's just give it a little power on to see that everything is in fact alright. Cool, so there we are. We got our receiver blinking away, which is good news. Everything's wired up properly. Let's move on to the next part of the video. Okay guys, so on to the flash part of the video. So I've got the quad here in front of me. Okay. So as I mentioned before, I have already done an ELRS installation before. So my Manta is flying ELRS. You guys can see the antenna just in front there. But now with just while I was building this Frankenstein, this is a 6-inch. I just thought when I do the installation, I should probably just make a video on it as well, just to be able to show you guys how to flash firmware onto your ELRS products. So this will work for your receivers as well as for the modules in your radio. So yeah, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download ELRS configurator. So this is where everything is going to be. This is where we're going to get all our firmware from. Okay. So I do recommend that you just, as long as all what I've seen with all my equipment, as long as you are on the third release, so 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, I think 3.4 is the latest. Yeah, you guys can see that 3.4 is the latest. So as long as you have in the 3 range, you're good. If you're flying version 2 firmware, should be fine, but it's always better to do the latest because there's a lot of bug fixes and all of that. So first of all, what you're going to want to do, okay, is we're going to power up the quad, right, just normally. Okay, cool. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but just over here is the ELRS transmitter. Okay, you guys probably can't see that great. I'm going to try and just remove some of the flash in order to show you guys, so you guys can see it beeping away over there. Okay, so you're going to want to wait until that reaches a really fast blink. It's going to start to flicker, and that's when you know your receiver has gone into Wi-Fi mode. So we'll just give that a couple more seconds while it goes in. It should take about 1 or 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it's quicker, but just plug in and let it sit. I do recommend you maybe plug out your VTX if you can. If you can't, put it in pit mode. That way it doesn't get hot on the bench, or just have air circulation over it. So I can see now that it's gone in. Okay, just gonna show you guys again so you guys can see over there it's flickering really fast. Right, so that gives us the indication that it has gone into Wi-Fi mode. So what we can do now is we can open up our Wi-Fi settings just over here. Mine is busy struggling. Let's see if we can go back in. Okay, it's giving me issues. Let's go into my settings. We'll go here to Right, so my computer was acting up earlier, but I can see here now Expresslrs RX, so that's exactly what we want to connect to. You guys might have an issue depending on my PC has Ethernet, so I am connected to the internet while I have wireless access to the quad. So when you guys download your firmware, you might have to just switch back to your home network, but I will tell you guys when that needs to come into play. So we've connected in there. I don't know why it takes me to this page. The URL it should take you to is 10.0.0.1. Okay, once you search that, you'll see that you have your product name. Okay, you can see this is a Happy Model EP1. Okay, the EP1 and the EP2 is the same firmware, and then all the other info is just at the bottom here. So we'll get to that in a second. You can see I'm on version 3.3. I have already updated this. I'm just going to give you guys a run through on how to actually get it done. So what we're going to do is open up our configurator. Okay, you're going to choose whatever release you want. Okay, I recommend 3, anything in the 3 range, 3.1, 3.5, 3.2, whatever you want. Okay, device category. Okay, this is going to be the Happy Model 2.4 gigahertz. You guys are just going to have to see what yours is. I can see that mine is a 2.4 gigahertz because of that, right? So you can see a Happy Model 2.4 gigahertz. Okay, bear with me. Device, okay, is going to be the EP1/EP2. You can also check here that mine is the EP1, EP2. So you guys can see why I wanted you to open this up first in order to see what exactly you're running. Okay, this will give you a good indication and you won't make any mistakes regarding what receiver you have. So you guys can see there that I have the EP1, EP2 model. We are going to be flashing through Wi-Fi. Okay, all of these things can pretty much stay the same. You can put in your custom binding phrase here. It's not really needed. We will put it in later. I will show you. I never really put it in here, but I do. It is there. So we will check that out. All of this can just stay on the defaults that is already selected for you. Then you're going to hit build. Okay, when you hit build, it might fail. Mine failed the first time. I don't know why. I went out and clicked build again and it made it without any problems. So just keep that in mind. When you do click build, it is going to create a file. Okay, so if I just show you my hidden files, you can see here firmware.bin. This is my file over here. Okay, it created firmware.bin. It will create it in a zip file. You'll just need to unzip it and then just drag it to your desktop to access it easily. We'll just keep that aside for now. Right. So once we've done that, we're going to go back to our 10.0.0.1 page where we connected to the receiver through Wi-Fi. Okay. And in here, we're going to go to update. Now, if you are on version 2.2, you are going to have the same sort of page, but it's all going to be out in one page. It's not going to have all these different categories. Okay, but what you're going to do is you're going to go to update, you're going to click choose file, and then mine is already open here because I've already done it, but you're going to select your file and then hit update, and then it's going to flash all the firmware to your receiver. It doesn't take long. It is going to reboot your receiver when you are done, but yes, so that's all you need to do for that. Once your receiver is updated and rebooted, you can then go back here to options, all right, and create a binding phrase. I've already created mine. You can make whichever one you want. Okay, make it something simple. You don't want to be making something insanely long to type in. But yeah, just something simple. It's not that serious like a bank password or anything like that, but just make it something that you know. Once you've done that, you can keep all this stuff the same. Lock on first connection. You do want that ticked. And then you just hit save. And then it is also going to reboot. Give it some time, and then you can unplug the quad, and that's pretty much going to be done. So that is it for that part of the video. I'm now going to move on to the remote TX part of the video. Okay guys, so for the remote part of the video, what we're going to do is, this is my Radio Master TX16S. What you're going to want to do is go into your system function, okay? Go into your ELRS part of the radio, okay? This is where you set all your stuff for your ELRS. I am running the 1 watt 2.4 gigahertz model. And what you're going to want to do is go down to Wi-Fi connectivity, okay? Once you've gone in there, you're going to hit enable Wi-Fi. So this is exactly what we've done with the drone as well. In order to get it to the flashing mode, this is going to enable Wi-Fi so that we can access the Wi-Fi and be able to update it. So we can now move on to that. Okay guys, so now that we've enabled Wi-Fi on our radio, I do apologize, my PC isn't allowing me to connect to my radio's Wi-Fi frequency, so I don't know why. I'm going to give it a try on another laptop, but for now there is no need to fear. I am going to work on my iPad, so it's going to be the same deal as the receiver. We're just going to open up our Wi-Fi, go into our connect to ELRS TX. Okay, the password, if you need a password, okay, it might ask you. The password will just be ELRS, so it'll be Expresslrs, all lowercase. So just keep that in mind. Once we enter the page, it's going to be the same thing as what we saw on for the receiver. If you do need to update it, you will run through the ELRS configurator on your PC. You will get the correct, download the correct firmware version that you need, get the target, get your category, get your version, do all of that stuff, download it. Once that's done, you then turn on your radio's Wi-Fi, like we did, okay? And then we are going to go to we're going to connect to the module's Wi-Fi, okay? And same deal, we're going to go to update. You're going to choose whatever file. This is only if you need to update your firmware. I'm sure you know that though. You're going to then choose the file that you just downloaded. It should be also a firmware bin file. Click update. It will do its reboot sequence, and then once that's done, you can connect up again. Go to your options. Put in the same bind phrase as you used for the drone's receiver. You are going to put the same thing in here. And you can do this for all your drones. It just makes life 20 times easier when you need to connect, and you can be rest assured that your quads will not disconnect randomly from your receiver. So this is really good. It's foolproof. Put in your binding phrase, hit save, it will reboot the system, and you're good to go. Okay guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. I've now got both my quads flying ELRS. I've had great experiences with it so far. Super easy to connect, and rest assured none of my quads are going to disconnect. I really do recommend ELRS if you guys aren't on it before. But yeah, I hope this video has helped you in some way or form. If you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing for more future content. I'm going to try and do more all-round content for people to follow, especially new people. I love getting new people involved. It's a lovely sport. It's an awesome hobby. And yeah, until next time, thank you very much.